Hello and welcome back to the LEC. That's Richard the Bear. Not very impressed with Mad Lions so far. Very disappointed they couldn't close out the game. Sorry, Richard. We'll see if they can do better this time around. It is, of course, the cusp of qualifying for Worlds for G2 Esports, and Mad Lions potentially knocked down to the lower bracket. Very big stakes here in Game 3 already. G2 looking pretty unstoppable.
Yeah, and it's the fact that it's everyone on G2 looking really unstoppable. Wunder came back from a disastrous early game to be one of the hard carries. Caps still doing Caps things, and Perkz and Mikyx quietly having an incredible series, especially in his positioning on those team fights. This is the worst case scenario for every team in Europe. G2 firing on all cylinders.
Well, I mean, it's best of fives, you know? This team normally this is where they kind of come online. We'll see if Mad Lions can turn it around. I think they showcased a lot of great stuff in Game 2, and I'm optimistic that they can put on a good performance here in Game 3. We're jumping into draft. They put a high priority on the Lillia last game. Let's see if they do the same for us.
Yeah, reminder, Mad Lions were also on blue side. Their bans were Set, Twisted Fate, and Ashe, so you can already see the TF coming out there. And as Vedius just said, are they going to continue to put high priority on Lillia? I'm actually really surprised. SK did something where when they got 3-0 by Schalke, they decided to swap to red side just to try out a different strategy. Usually when you're preparing drafts, you prepare a draft for blue side, you prepare a draft for red side, and SK didn't feel that blue side was working for them, so they just last-ditch effort ran to red. Mad Lions like, no. We think it's execution. Let's run it again.
Well, they have made a slight pivot by banning away the Nautilus. They're going to remove that from Mikyx. As you mentioned, Frost, he has had a very good Nautilus performance so far this series. The Set going to be taken off the board as well, means that Ashe will be left available. And we'll see how this shifts the bans. It won't at all for G2 Esports. So Lillia, surely the first pick here for Mad Lions.
Ashe, though, up and available, taking their time debating on this one. Ezreal up 2, of course, 80 carry champion pools we know can go deeper, but a lot of meta power picks still up and available. Lillia going to be locked in again, most likely into the hands of Shadow. Could still be a flex, but I got to say, I already like that Mad Lions have taken the Nautilus off the table, removing some of the point-and-click CC that could shut that Lillia down.
I don't necessarily think it's just the Lillia, though. It's the fact that Mikyx was just terrorizing them into the mid lane, constantly roaming up there, and Nautilus just had so many tools to make his life such a pain, and this is a very different departure. Obviously,
this is a complete 180. This man is not leaving the lane anytime soon.
But now that, how does that change G2? Because Mikyx was a big part of the blitzing that G2 were doing at Humanoid in that mid lane, and yeah, the game plan has still been to get a very strong mid-jungle duo for G2, but at least you're not also then bringing a support.
Wow, okay, so Ashe plus Lulu plus Lillia. We're going full magical journey with Mad Lions and this composition.
Listen, let me tell you about Lulu Ashe and how the fact that you never get away from that shit.
and then there's a Lillia on top of it as well. Like, the movement speed, the utility, just from Lulu and Lillia in conjunction, like, it's crazy. So we'll see how G2 respond. They're going to lock in the Shen. Of course, with the Yuumi locked in, you expect this to be in the top lane, so I imagine we're going to see a Gangplank ban. There it is, coming out from G2.
There's also a potential that you ban Kha'Zix here. Now, I'm not quite certain on the Lillia versus Kha'Zix matchup, but I will say that Yuumi and Shen plus a Kha'Zix probably going to be pretty terrifying.
That's fair, yeah.
A champion that can jump in right now when you have 2 backpack champions that can join them, I think is kind of the game plan.
Have to see what they want to opt for. For now, the Hecarim actually going to be taken away. G2 Esports not going to get the opportunity to play at Mad Lions. Of course, know the strength of that pick themselves. They've tried it before, mounting the kitty cat to the pony.
Yeah, champion that you can ride. Hecarim, Shen, and Yuumi can ride that.
It's true. That's very, very true. I'm really curious. Renekton ban. Wow, the Renekton ban coming out from G2. Okay, so they're going to deny that one array from Orome. What's the final ban here from Mad Lions? The Kha'Zix, as you predicted for us. Good shot there. Now, what direction did G2 go? Obviously, they're going to save their mid lane pick for Caps, try and get him a counter, put him in the best position for success, especially with the series that he's having.
I think you can just go Sejuani here if you want and get the hard engage anyway, and then you can give Caps a champion that can dive into the back line.
Perhaps, yeah.
Maybe you go Nocturne? Okay,
Ooh.
So it's still a diving champion.
I mean, this comp is definitely a little bit different. When we talked about last game, G2's comp felt very easy to execute, very straightforward. You're already seeing a little bit more complexity here with G2's comp. It seems to me like that they have a lot of options in the early game, but this mid lane pick is going to determine a lot.
Camille coming out. We'll have to see the final pick for Mad Lions is going to be, they're going to run it back Of course, even more tools, arguably, with the Lulu here to make sure that this combo really connects Ashe the sustain damage they're looking for. But of course, Jankos on the Lee Sin, a big deal, taking it away from Shadow, who most likely was going to play the Lillia anyway. But now, Jankos, a man who's been having absolutely flawless early game performances, is now set up to do so again on the Lee Sin.
Here's the issue. If you go Aurelia again, you're missing a lot of magic damage, and I feel like that's why they're flashing between the Syndra and the Aurelia. Like, it would make sense because he wants to take the matchup again of the Aurelia and the Galio, but Syndra Lee Sin gets him the magic and physical damage profile that you need in mid-jungle, and it's also incredibly oppressive at level 6. Syndra Lee Sin, that duo still blitzing.
That's level 2. QE, okay, I'm good to go. Like, that's all you need with the Syndra Lee Sin combo. I think it can be very powerful, but again, the thing that G2 have to be careful of is Mad Lions level 1. They're going to look to invade once again. We see it time and time again with the Lillia, and we expect Mad Lions to play through the top side of the map. They're going to want to try and shut this Shen down by utilizing the Galio ultimate to make those roams happen and try and attack these side lanes.
And not just the level 1, but also in the mid lane, Caps has to be carried, because we saw how Wunder was picked off time and time again on the top side of the map. This time, he is the one with the target on his back, and it is time to see, can Mad Lions bring it back? Can they take us to a game 4, or will G2 complete the sweep? Welcome. Humanoid has changed skins. This is the serious Humanoid skin. This is the I ain't taking no crap from your Caps in the mid lane skin. I don't know that. I'm just assuming.
This is the I survived that teleport.
That's what I noticed for some reason. Anyway, level 1, of course, something, Vedius, that you highlighted that could be very important.
I shall enhance the minimap for you.
Thank you. Expecting to see the Lillia contest these early Raptors. Of course, important to note that Sin level 1 is quite strong, so I can't imagine Lillia is going to feel super comfortable to run in there on her own. It looks like Shadow will back off.
This is why they put me in the middle of the tri-caster cage, it's so I don't get to touch the
the boop-de-boop. It's what I call the boop-de-boop. Kevin and I have agreed on the official stance.
Okay. I'll advance us, it's fine. Lillia, hard farming jungle. The thing is that she needs gank setup. So again, we talked about that in the last game. Galio has that gank setup potentially for Lillia, whereas Lee Sin, very heavy gank jungle. So the two different styles should be Shadow kind of quietly waiting for setup for his lanes. Otherwise, he's going to be power farming through his jungle, making use of the wave priority that Galio can get, and then playing towards that top side. Whereas G2 probably blitzing mid lane once again and trying to find early kills.
And in the brief break before level 2s come in and Humanoid potentially has to fear for his life, I gotta ask the people at home, Mad Lions, they want to find a game 4, but who's gonna take him there? Who will carry Mad this game? It's a tough one to call. A lot of sources of damage, a lot of sources of playmaking, but you at home can do it. Reminder, you type any player's name you want and it'll contribute to the vote. Just remember that Shadow has a 0 and not an O. Don't let that stop you from voting for the Lillia. Vedius, you can go. We'll check in on the votes in a second.
So again, you can vote for any of the Mad Lions players. Which ones do you think will need to step up and who can carry? Because I think a lot of the responsibility falls on Orome once again. I feel like that he's in this position where he's on the Camille, and last game where he got a lot of resources. When it came to those team fights, he just didn't have the same impact that Wunder had. And I think that right now there is a bit of a top differential in terms of the outcome. So I think that a lot of responsibilities fall on his shoulders right now to help Mad Lions come back into this series.
I mean, I think the series has been a solo lane difference between these two teams. So I agree with you. It's not just Orome, it's also Humanoid. Now, we've seen some bright flashes of these two from the previous series, but now they just need to make it count when their backs is against the wall.
They're out of chances. You're 2 games down against G2 Esports. This is where no one ever wants to be, and it's a bit divided in terms of who actually people expect to carry. It's not Humanoid at all. It appears to be mostly leaning towards Carzzy, and might shift away from Orome in a second if Jankos can find a successful gank here. He's used the hook shot, he's used the wall dive, he's committed now. He's probably going to have to flash here. Flashes to take him under tower, however. Jankos going to get that one for free.
But they're going to be happy with that, and that early flash means that G2 can look for another play up towards the top side of the map a little bit later on into the game. But very quickly to come back to this vote, I will say that Carzzy was very crucial in that last fight.
It's so
Kaiser
easy.
has 24% chance
He's
to carry on a
Lulu.
Lulu over the Camille.
Okay, I didn't notice the Kaiser. I saw the Carzzy 30%, and I was like, yeah, okay, we can talk a little bit about Carzzy from last game. They were like, no, the Lulu is the carry. We're like, all right, chat, we'll listen in, okay?
They're like, this name's easy to spell.
Like, this is why we don't invite you onto the broadcast, okay? All right, he's
Okay,
getting
chat.
more votes. Get rid of it. Kevin, get rid of this now. We don't want this anymore.
Take it down, Kevin. The votes were only growing. Now Humanoid, though, going in. He might need some votes of his own because 1, 2, 3. Caps burning slowly but surely. The tick, not enough. First blood to turn back. The white flag and the Nico emo. You can't do that to him.
That is twice Shadow has missed crucial abilities in trying to dive Caps.
Pain.
TP now coming
So much
in.
pain.
Jankos maybe now in trouble. Humanoid wants to get this one down. They're going to have some follow-up CC. Jankos
All right.
will get traded back.
Hit that one.
All right, nice. Okay, Humanoid needed that. That was, he really needed that one. You know, like you've had a bad day at the office and you find ice cream in the fridge and you're like, oh yeah, this is it.
Are you
needed
12?
that kill back. Hey, ice cream makes me feel good. Oh, this is a good trade for Wunder right now.
All right. Orome is going to walk his way out as a pull
Was he
update.
stuck in the minions?
He might have been. League of Legends is a great game like
Ah, yes, the game working as intended.
Yes.
No, I don't know. I don't know about that one. But in any case, let's go back to that mid play. So, really clutch flash that came out from Caps to be able to avoid the taunt. But as you rightly said, Frost, like, Humanoid needed to land that. That was such a good
Shadow.
setup from... Wait, it wasn't Shadow. Humanoid missed the taunt, right?
Or, no, I think it was Shadow that missed the Q.
Oh. Unfortunately, we don't have a replay
don't
for this
replay.
one.
Yeah,
We
that's
don't
the
have a replay.
unfortunate thing.
Yeah, so,
I'm sure someone in chat.
Yeah, you guys are going to have to help us. Something was missed there. There was an execution error on Mad Lion's
Vote
part.
now in the chat.
Don't do that.
Is it Shadow
There's a
or
list of
Humanoid?
5 skills.
Don't
Who
do
messed
that.
it up? I'm kidding. There's no vote.
But the thing is that Caps got first blood and he didn't die. So there's Syndra now sitting on double Doran's ring. This is also, by the way, one of Caps' best ever champions. He has an insane win rate on this Syndra. Do you have it for me, Drakos?
Oh my god, it's going to take like 30 seconds. Don't put me on.
But
The internet
Caps
is
has something
slow
like
today.
17 or 18 wins on this champion, and like the fact that he got that first blood is only going to make this lane matchup so much harder for Humanoid.
Checking into game state, however, you can see that the Drake has been started by Mad Lions. They're using the priority that they got into the mid lane, as well as that bot lane in particular there. Meanwhile, Jankos has decided to full piggyback behind Wunder, who had a freeze on his side of the lane. Now the wave has slowly grown and is slowly rotating back towards Orome. So Jankos is also here just to protect Wunder, so he can crash this wave and get a reset.
Notice that Humanoid's even moving up because he's like, they might dive Orome here. With that huge wave stacking up, there was a real risk that G2 is going to put him unbelievably far behind. But fortunately for Orome, nothing is going to come of that. Humanoid.
Taunt coming out. We'll connect with the Caps fall because there. He can make Caps sleepy now, but the Shen ultimate is now coming in. They want to turn this one back. Shadow taking a lot of damage in response. Caps burning his ult, though, just to keep himself alive in that exchange. And we'll have to walk away.
So I like the repeat gank from Mad Lions. This time around, they couldn't get the kill because the ultimate from Wunder did come through. They're going to burn that one, but Wunder's also not going to lose a huge amount because of where the wave state is. And now Wunder's going to help Caps push in mid as his wave is being pushed in his favor back towards topside. So this early game, I think, going pretty good for G2. It's Perkz.
Polymorph has to flash out to safety. Jankos is here in the nick of time one more time, and this time he hits Kaiser. Flashing in, going to find the slow. Will they get anything else? Mikyx now mounted to the blind bunk. He's his eyes. See for him, Mikyx. Kaiser will get taken. No! You can't kill him! This is why the chat voted for him. Kaiser's still alive, and now the rest of the team has to run. There's no ultimate available for Shadow, but he's prancing in. He wants to finish this one. A little bit more damage. Ticking, 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 but just enough health for Perkz to make it out.
Beautiful play there from the Mad Lions bot lane. They were definitely the ones that needed to clutch up in this situation. They were able to punish Jankos once again. This early game Lee Sin not working out for G2.
Yeah, and the thing is that this Ashe and this Lulu will scale exceptionally well. And you have to have kill pressure onto the Ashe, kind of like Ezreal, where if the composition can't dive in and deny her, her scaling is actually quite powerful. And if Jankos isn't popping off and doesn't actually have kill pressure, then you're entirely reliant on Caps. And Ashe is one of the safer champions against Syndra because of her long range.
It's true. So Mad feeling pretty comfortable, even though some of these early game shenanigans have not looked great for Mad Lions. The fact that Orome is falling behind, the fact that Caps gets his first blood. Bot lane has been doing exceptionally well in the 2 versus 2. Lulu at the beginning of the split was considered a very strong answer into things like the Yuumi, and it's cool to see it come back in Kaiser's hands.
Also a great answer into Syndra. Like, how is he going to burst anyone when you have the wild growth?
Such a great point.
And you have to remember, in a meta full of melee supports, it was G2 last spring in the playoffs who brought the Lulu back, paired it with the Kog'Maw, showed the power that this champion can have. Now paired with an Ashe, as you mentioned before, Froskurinn, this champion's impossible to get away from. And once she gets a lead in this lane, you know, Perkz is just going to be out of options in terms of sitting here comfortably ever. The Yuumi's going to have to use all that movement speed just to ferry him out to safety. It's going to be very, very difficult for G2.
All right, chat. So you were right with the first Kaiser play. We'll give you that one.
Fun fact, the chat voted Kaiser so hard after we took the graphic down, he got up to 70%. So maybe they knew all along, and we should continue to ask them. Maybe we should invite them to cast.
All right, we'll see. We'll see as the game progresses. It's a long time, chat. You haven't earned my trust just yet. Shadow right now looking for a dive. Humanoid has the ultimate. Orome no TP, but they don't really need it, because at the very least, Carzzy's getting more plates.
And it's just constantly Mad Lions cheating down River with Humanoid and Shadow and allowing Carzzy and Kaiser to take advantage of that pressure and the earlier, faster rotations that Mad's mid-jungle can make to continue to eke these plates away. So very well done playing the mapped game for Mad Lions.
Very solid. And as we talked about in the second game, it felt like individuals stepping up as well, and we're continuing to see, outside of some hiccups in the early game, Kaiser continued to step up. So Mad Lions on the trajectory to find their first game win here in a series that will decide one team that is going to Worlds. You do not want to fall down to that lower bracket, or you could become the next meme to die at the hands of the Schalke Miracle Run. You could also beat them, but fans probably will not be in your favor.
We see Jankos moving into the fog of war, looking for a play. No flash on Carzzy, but Kaiser just hit level 6.
He does have arrow.
Coming in. Now the ultimate coming out as well. Ezreal ult, of course, going to mitigate through the stun. Now knockup coming in 2. Shadow warming over the wall. He's going to find 3, and he's immediately going to go for the sweep here. The follow-up, that's a drowsy Perkz. Perkz now immediately cleansing, trying to make it on safety, but there's no time. Shen now coming in. Watch out, Eve will connect, but not enough damage quite. Perkz is going to get ticked down in the end. Kaiser actually going to snipe the kill. Shadow now running forward. They don't have recourse here. All the team now coming down. Humanoid just going to use his ult to escape from Caps in the meantime, and Mad Lions are dominating again here in this early game.
I'm going to say it. Twitch chat was right. Kaiser played that so ridiculously well to allow Mad Lions to turn that around, holding the wild growth until Lee Sin had procced the Q to come in and get the knock up there, also hitting amazing fadeaway Qs to pick up the kill when Shadow flashed away. That was beautiful cooldown management from Kaiser.
Let's also appreciate that Jankos was only level 6 in that play. Shadow's level 9. He has been farming like a monster in this game. Look, he's almost matched Ashe in terms of farm, and he's setting himself up to be a huge carry in this game, and it's going to prove a big part as we look back at this replay. So the moment the ultimate comes through, Jankos comes from the bushes, and then a great ultimate comes out from Carzzy. The ultimate then pops from Kaiser, and then a level 8 Shadow gets knocked back, but the damage from this champion can just keep the chase going down. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Caps and Humanoid are going at it. Caps is trying to stop Humanoid from
I think Humanoid was stopping Caps.
And then the stun comes through, but with the stun gone, then Humanoid has nothing that he has to be afraid of, so he can then ult towards his teammate and get out to safety, even burning Caps' flash there. So extremely well played from Mad Lions squad. They're going to get themselves more kills. They're going to get more plates. And if we can quickly swap over to the gold, we should see that Carzzy right now sitting in a 1k gold advantage, 1k gold advantage in the jungle as well. Mad Lions looking much more convincing in this early game, in Game 3.
And obviously Shadow is incredibly strong right now, but Carzzy and Kaiser are basically unstoppable in any skirmish where they are evenly matched 2v2, you know, 3v3, whatever, because they have Ardent Sensor plus Blade of the Rune King. They were already inescapable, and now they have so much damage to back themselves up. This is incredibly oppressive from the side of Mad Lions.
Damn it, Drakos, why do you gotta steal my points? I was like, the Ardent Sensor, the Bork! Ashe is so powerful right now! And they're just gonna move her around. Throwing arrows from Fog of War as well.
Wow.
Mad Lions are in the power position, the driver's seat. They should have control wherever they want this little Ashe to be.
They even TP'd Ashe bot to get her even more plates. Jankos going for another play.
Oh, the flash.
Clean flash out, but the kick back into the wall. Now they're still going to be able to find the snare. Orome's here, but there's no Lulu to protect the Ashe this time around. However, Humanoid now moving in. Jankos will get taken out. Humanoid has to run for the hills. Kaiser now there for the backup. The stun will not connect. Seed coming down to the bottom lane, but will not hit either.
So the flash was good, the arrow was not. I think it was just a slight mechanical mistake where he threw the arrow after the flash, and so that's why it didn't connect on the target. But if he flashes, then throws arrow, and that connects, I think that's a completely different situation there for Carzzy.
Yeah, that's true. Also, Shadow update, level 10. This guy, yeah, has the, okay, not the most farm in the game, but the most farm on his team.
Oh no, here we go.
He wins this 1v1, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, he's missed one ability.
He has to hit a few abilities here. Well, one, where's the watch out Eve gonna go? He's gonna wait until he's sleepy. Dunks him down, that's fat damage. Sweep him up. Just like a speedy horse Darius running through your AD carry.
I was just going to break down Lillia, but we're going to take a look at this one. Again, I think the issue was that he threw the arrow after the flash. Because it's flash. Yeah. Oh,
no,
that was so close.
How did that not hit?
Because he flashed over the arrow, I guess? Because he flashed past the starting point?
Listen, League of Legends working as intended.
Yeah, so...
I take it back, Carzzy. That was sick.
Yeah, Carzzy actually nailed that. Really well done there. All right, well, Mad Lions are smurfing on G2 in this early game. 3k gold lead right now. They have advantages in the jungle, they have advantages in bot, and right now you're kind of looking at G2 solo laners, and it's very much like, okay, can Cap someone do it again? Because while Wunder has been doing very well in lane, I don't know if Shen is going to have the same carry potential that Nico had in the last game. Meanwhile, Carzzy and Kaiser are just set up for success.
Absolutely, and when we look at Caps, the man who has, I think, over the course of the series, had one of the strongest, if not the strongest performance coming in from G2. He no longer has a champion full of dashes, like the Aurelia, like the LeBlanc, Syndra. Very easy to understand what you can do. Of course, there's a high skill ceiling on the champ, but not nearly the amount of mobility to outplay, to outmaneuver the opposing team. So if he ever gets caught, there's no fancy footwork this time around. He will just go down.
Mad Lions also taking this opportunity to pick up the Cloud Drake, looking for their Drake stack run. The next one will be spawning in 5 minutes, and that will time nicely with a lot of their item break points. So in full control of this game, and G2 need to kind of figure out where they want to attack. I would expect it would be around Syndra. Jankos has tried to really force bot lane, and I think we need to switch up some tactics and get aboard the Caps train if you're a G2 fan.
Problem is, I think it's a little too late for that, because the Galio now, level 11, even if you put him behind, he's at a point where he does his job, right? Like, even if he's like 1 or 2 levels behind Caps, his purpose in fights is to be obnoxious, soak up damage, and ult for Carzzy, or dive alongside Orome. I think the G2 need to be trying to find picks onto Carzzy if they can, but again, that's going to be difficult because Kaiser's going to stick to him like nothing else. So I'm kind of in the same boat as you, Froskurinn. I'm like, I don't know what options G2 really have at this point in the game outside of finding a good pick. And by the way, Shadow level 11. Like, the guy is just, he's also a huge threat that you also have to be very cautious of because of how well the champion will scale into the rest of the game.
Very difficult to deal with. Of course, one thing I want to put attention to again is Carzzy. Ashe is a champion that we know internationally has been so good, but here in Europe, it sucks. Like Zoe in past weeks, EU Ashe has only found 1 win. We'll hold that thought, though, as the engage now coming in. Jankos trying to find a pick onto Orome. Lots of damage going down, and G2 will find a kill back into the game.
However, on the Shen, now back to your Ashe point.
Yeah, so Ashe right now in EU, folks, 1 win, 9 losses. And at this point, just pretty abysmal performances. But every time I want to talk about it, it gets interrupted. We're going to hold that thought. Carzzy, not quite enough burst damage to get him down. Caps trying to finish the job and will be able to do so, but a sleepy Caps will get dropped. And there it is. Never mind. You know what? We'll talk about EU Ashe later. My point was, if Mad Lions can play Ashe, if they win a game with Ashe, it changes the draft a lot, because for the most part, I don't think EU teams had to care. Outside of Neon, no other AD carry has actually won on this champion, and it was not really as present in our meta overall.
Don't worry, Drakos, we're going to need that superpower in a little bit, so you just get ready for the Ashe graphic, because when I want a fight to start, I want you to cue it, okay? But overall,
I'll say that was my fault.
Yeah. Let's have a look back at what happened in this mid lane play. So Carzzy applies the stall onto Caps. He's trying to get some control back into mid. Meanwhile, Shadow and Mad are looking to set up the pinch. Oh, he flashes out, still gets hit by the ultimate. Because of how close range it is, the stun does not apply for that long. The burst comes down onto the Ashe, but then the stun comes through from him as well, which is what gives him enough damage to actually get that kill onto the Ashe, making it a one for one.
That was like the Nautilus hook of Ashe arrows.
Yeah.
But to be fair, after that one in the bot lane, Carzzy earned one. Like that was mad questionable. The Wunder perfectly flashed through the hitbox.
Carzzy, good damage coming out from his Ashe right there.
Yeah, getting closer and closer to the rune hands as well will further improve that wave clear. And already it looks like Shadow starting up the second Herald. And we'll be able to clear that one out on his own. So the goal lead should continue to extend for Mad Lions. 2 Dragons as well, and we're working towards Ocean Soul. Mountain Soul was important last game, but Ocean Soul is game-defining if Mad can secure it themselves.
Now, if we've slowly been watching Mad Lions kind of ramp up more and more control as the series has progressed, surely this game they have the most control as that Ashe arrow connects.
Follow-up though, difficult without the Camille there to instantly jump on that one, especially if the wall is there to block Humanoid from pursuing. Jankos going to get sped up. Mad still hunting as they lay vision down on the top side. The Herald now use mid, of course, no plates. It's not nearly as important as the first Herald. But
opening up that mid tower, especially when the Ocean Drake is about to spawn in 1 minute, is kind of the big prize for Mad. And the thing about G2's composition is they're not going to be very powerful when this Drake fight is going to come about. It's really only Syndra that is powerful.
They're holding on to mid lane tower for now. They're still trying to force the engage here. So much damage traded back onto Perkz, however. Oh my god, Lillia is so strong. Level 12 now for Shadow. Wunder now TPing in. Jankos has him on the back. Shen in the midst of the entire team, but Humanoid stunned up so many. Luluwalt coming out as well just to stop the fight from going in. Wunder, rather Jankos burning his flash for that as well.
Yeah, trying to burn his flash to position Wunder better, but again, Drake fight is in 40 seconds. You now are missing massive key ultimates. This is Mad Lions being set up ahead of time for the Drake Soul, and meanwhile, Orome got all of that free experience, all of the free tower. I think that was a huge wash for G2.
Yeah, I think that Mad pretty much had full control over the map there, and anything that G2 did, they were going to lose something for it. So good setup coming out from Mad. I think they also just stole the red buff. They can now reset, set up for Drake. They will be a little late on their setup, but it doesn't matter because G2 is also delayed thanks to having to catch all these waves, and Humanoid is going to push out bot as well. So Mad perfectly set up for success right now, and it looks like G2 aren't even going to contest this, given that Perkz is still sitting in top lane. He has no flash. Sorry, he has no teleport, and yeah, I just don't think that G2's in a position to contest.
Also, there's no ult on Mikyx, there's no ult on Jankos, there will be no ult on Wunder for the fight to come, so they just don't really have any tools to kick this fight off, whereas on the opposite side for Mad, Orome wasn't there, so he still has the Hextech ultimate. You still have Galio with his ultimate as well to get things started, so Jankos checking just a little bit greedy. Shadow's ult not quite up yet, but still the Camille will be more than enough to lock down the Lee Sin and take him out. A bit cheeky to check it at all, but Mad Lion's gonna punish.
I think greed is the right word there. Drakos, Jankos not having the best game, as he has been repeatedly punished for pretty much every play that he has tried to make, and right there once again. Now with Baron up, Mad could just go straight for it if they wanted to. With the enemy jungler dead, there's a real possibility they can force this, but it looks like they're not going to take that gamble.
They're against Syndra, let's be honest. EU teams approaching Baron.
That's a great point. Great point for us.
I just don't think that they need it right now to even close out the game, especially as they're now setting up a dive on Wunder.
Ashe back trying to buy a bit of time with the Spirit's Refuge. The taunt is there, and now the ult will be from the Lillia as well, so easy kill pickup. Ezreal now coming in. Doesn't look like it's going to snipe anybody here. Back away in the end, but just flawless picks coming in left and right from Mad Lions and this Camille Galio duo.
Yeah, and the only trade that G2 got for that was Perkz slowly pushing the top tower down. He burned his ultimate there, he pushed through 3 waves, he eventually got the top tower down, but G2 kind of running face first into Mad Lions, giving them the setup for Soul Point, and then giving them those 2 kills and the tower on top of it. Big yikes.
And now we're at a point where we've been talking about Shadow all game, but I'm going to do it one more time because this man, in the past, it was just the Shadow Lee Sin we were getting hyped for, but this game we can be excited about the Shadow Lillia because 5-0-2 on his way to Azania's highest level in the game, almost 14 now as he's starting to clear through the camp faster.
He has speedy boots too.
He's so fast, he does so much damage, and if you ever catch him, he Qs you, Zhonya's, or ults you, then Zhonya's comes out, you're asleep, turns around and one-shots you.
The highest level in the game right now, level 14. Wow, Shadow is insanely strong.
How much we want to take bets that if G2 loses this game, Lily is banned?
Yeah, I think that you might have to, but bear in mind that the loser does get side selection. So
G2 are absolutely going to blue side.
Back to blue side and make that pick a little bit more contested. But we'll have to see. G2 not quite out just yet. Mad in a convincing position. The Ashe is strong, but so is Perkz. He's been sitting off in a side lane. He's ahead in farm. He's got his Mura mana fully stacked, ready to go. Caps is working towards that death cap. You can see more itemization starting to come through. One of the biggest problem for G2 right now is that Jankos is not a champion. He's going to offer very little in these fights. And we'll see how, if at all, G2 are going to be able to navigate around.
But it's also situations like that where G2 are also losing a lot. They're using Wunder as bait, and they allow him to pick up the entire wave. And you just said that Caps is that close to death cap. Obviously, funneling the wave into him, maybe you get that much closer to it. Maybe you actually get that item breakpoint. But it's G2 that are falling over themselves, trying to force or find plays, and Mad Lions just playing a really great defensive game, you know, not giving them any sort of opportunity. And it's small things, but those small things are starting to really add up in favor for Mad.
And there it goes, once again, a Seed running down mid lane trying to snipe. And this is the other big thing about Mad Lions' composition is because they're in such a dominant position, things like the Ashe arrow, as well as that Seed coming in from Lillia, when she has ult available, just mean free kills. So as we may see here, well, they're going to get the cleanse for now, but that cleanse no longer available. The arrow comes to follow. Next time, Perkz is just dead.
There's a lot of really strong pick potential on Mad's composition, and I love how they've been using the Ashe arrow, like, very proactive with the champion. And I think that's one of the biggest things we don't see from many EU Ashe players is Wunder going for the 1v1. He's definitely winning this skirmish against Humanoid, but look at Ashe on the way down.
TP coming in as well, wanting to shut down the Shen, moving to the global. Wunder is going to be taunted up. Orome here as well. Wunder going to try to dash back and try to bring it in. Spirit's Refuge, not enough, and Carzzy will find the kill. Once again, Ezreal ult coming in too little, too late.
The continued march now with the minions behind them if they want to start to chip away at this tower, and just zero response from G2.
And just have to praise, again, Mad Lions. We wondered if this was, Game 2 was the game that broke them, because it was so clearly in their hands, and G2 just outplay them in a few fights and turn it back. But no, Mad Lions showing us, reminding us they're the team that took G2 to 5 games, that they're the team that beat G2. It's just Mad Lions and FBX who have been able to do that. Now, they're trying to do it one more time. Perkz going to be in trouble here. Not nearly enough health to survive. Trying to stun, trying to run, trying to get out of this exchange, and he will just barely survive. Turning back. Ooh.
Wow, so close there. Oh, and the TP now coming through from G2.
So many low health bars, too. Maybe moving in here pretty quick. Going over the wall, trying to chase. Wunder can try to find this one. Lee Sin coming in as well.
Ezreal ultimate.
Oh, Orome, good sidestep there, but G2 not going to be able to find anything else.
So the biggest thing about this play, though, is it actually gives G2 control over the Drake. So
there's enough time for Mad Lions to reset,
that's the other thing. So while Mad have been shoved away from this Drake for the time being, they have the opportunity to go back to base. We can see TP available on Carzzy. He's already making his way back. They've spent a lot of their gold, and they're in a position right now to actually challenge. And it looks like that G2 is either looking for a pick, or they're actually just looking or forcing Mad to actually walk into them.
Yeah, and one of the other issues that G2 are also facing with is the wave issue. You can see Orome probably going to hit that wave, get it to push in, and G2's mid lane tower is also very weak.
G2, though, starting this one up, pulling it out of the pit. Mad Lions trying to figure out exactly how best to play this fight. Shadow level 15, incredibly strong. Almost 3 points in the ultimate, and now Humanoid off to the flank. They knew the blast cone was there. Do they know Humanoid is coming? Perkz now caught out. Perkz in trouble. The chain CC is flawless. Carzzy flashing in fearlessly, running down G2. They don't have enough damage to heal. He's healing off the dragon in the meantime. Oh my god, Carzzy absolutely dominating that fight. Beautiful from Mad Lions.
So well executed. That's going to be the Ocean Soul from Mad Lions. That's surely going to be the Baron, and now full control. G2 may have clawed back the game in game number 2, but I don't think there's a chance in hell they claw back game number 3. We finally have a series.
Mad Lions, that was clean. Love the execution off the back of that, and they're going to very quickly convert it into a Baron as well. Mad Lions showcasing that they can go toe-to-toe with G2, and it all comes back off a great early game, which they've snowballed beautifully. So have a look at Humanoid as he looks to move around behind the team. He's setting up for the flank, and the ultimate taunt that will spell G2's demise. So Perkz gets caught out, he gets knocked up, he gets locked down, CC after CC.
Look at that taunt.
5-man taunt. The only reason it's not onto Yuumi, because Yuumi's inside Perkz. And then Carzzy just goes in on the offensive. Flashes in, does almost dies to the Drake, but gets the heal. And then they're able to clean up the rest of G2. G2 effectively gets stuck inside a pit, with Mad attacking them from every angle.
Humanoid's throwing the book at Perkz. He's got his own Magi's now.
I was just about to say, I thought that was a Caps move. No one else is actually allowed to do that. I thought that was in the rules, but Humanoid at 19 stacks is going crazy.
Well, chat, 273 damage. Nice carry, by the way. Great voting in that one.
Wow.
Suckers.
Wow. You...
I hope they flamed it.
Of course, only a bit of bands, chat. I love you. I love you. Please don't yell at me.
Claimed him. He earned it.
The coward, the fear. Okay, at this point in the game state, we've already talked about it. Mad Lions, full control. They siege exceptionally well. They're very powerful in these individual lanes. Shadow is an absolute monster.
Kill them all,
So
Shadow.
fast.
Kill them all.
He's so fast.
Oh, he's going to land on him.
Burn combined with the Leandries is just disgusting. And then meanwhile, Mad Lions are just pushing in. Everyone now going to use their ultimates together. Kicked out though. Perkz can now run to safety. Shadow Not going to push in quite yet. Lee Sin will drop, and the rest of G2 will survive for now.
Beautifully played by Mad Lions. Shadow, the split pusher, level 16. He's had a fantastic game. Really impressed with this Lillia performance, really showcasing what the champion can do. And what happens when Jankos does fall behind? It's dangerous picking Lee Sin into Shadow. He is the best Lee Sin in our region after all. And now Mad Lions have their eyes set on the Nexus. They want to get themselves a game on the boards. They want to match G2 in this best of 5. And they're looking poised. They're looking ready to do it. 1 lane left, 1 inhibitor left. G2 at death's door.
Mad Lions set up to bring us to game 4, not taking any risks this time around, not pushing too far, want to take it slow and steady. All 3 inhibitors.
You say that, but as soon as that tower goes down, I think Orome is just going to pull the trigger.
They could. Perkz not going to find the ultimate there. They're starting to step forward just a little bit here, but have to be careful. Shadow level 16 now with the ultimate. That's a 3-second sleep and a significant amount of bonus damage when you wake someone up from it as well. Humanoid now going in, trying to fish forward. The taunt going to be massive, but he has been pushed back. Now all on his lonesome, Orome jumps forward. They're trying to disengage. G2 trying to hold on, but Shadow finds so many people with that ultimate. That's going to be 4. Should be an easy follow-up now. Shadow, of course, obviously very squishy, but still holding on to life for now, and that's going to do it. Mad Lions turning the series back. Not going to falter after a rough game 2. They will bring it home here in game 3. They will take us into game 4. They will make it a series as they find their first win versus G2.
And we had a lot of questions about the endurance from Mad Lions. Yes, the last time that they beat G2, it did go to all 5 games, but the way that they lost game 2 was so devastating. So to come back in, to run back the same composition, not be too quick to start changing things up and to say this was about execution and then to out-execute in game 3 to keep their series alive, very impressive.
So I think there were 2 key things in this game that I think Mad Lions have to bear in mind throughout the rest of this series. Number 1, if you get a winning bot matchup, this is how they beat them last time during the regular season. You attack bot lane, you put Perkz and Mikyx behind, and you're in a great position to success. The other one is the jungle matchup, Shadow versus Jankos. We talked about it in our very first game of the day, and Jankos got the better of Shadow, but as the series is progressing, it feels like Shadow is ramping up. He's getting more into the groove of things, and we're seeing what he's capable of, especially on this Lillia. So I think that if they can put Jankos behind, and if they can attack that bot lane, that is the way for Mad to take down G2.
Because I also think that it inhibits caps, because if you can keep Mikyx locked down, which Mikyx kind of did it on his own by picking Yuumi, then he's not roaming, Jankos isn't having the same impact in the mid lane, and then Humanoid is actually just attacking the map far better alongside his team. So I think the blueprint has now been set out for Mad. We need to reset our expectations on this series because Mad have figured out this is how we break them.
Absolutely have to see how this one works out. What will G2 change? What will Mad change as we move into game 4? Mad Lions stayed alive in the series and have their eyes set on the reverse sweep. The summer playoffs continue after this.
To get out of here, and Toure is left all on his lonesome with an incredible quickness into the knockback. Goodbye, Excel. Patrick gets taken out by Reckless. It's a triple for him.
You're fighting through like what goes well, what goes right, and it's all a matter of finding, okay, this is our recipe for success and expanding from there.
Remember, the average survivor is going to do so much work. Shadow's already gone. There's 2 as Kaiser falls, and Finn is still stepping into Carzzy. Flashes off towards the back. Vander able to survive. There comes the damage. Carzzy, goodbye.
I really don't care what other people think about us. We're not Mad Lions, we're not G2, we're Rogue, right? We play our game. I just want to win, and that's all.
We're the Mad Lions and we're coming for the top. You're an old has-been, why don't you stop? We're original, we're visible, a goddamn miracle. You're cynical, you're pitiful, your play is criminal. You belong in an institution, or at least a fine for caps boosting. Cause Perkz, he ain't doing shit. Even Mikyx was better with a broken wrist. LEC Summer Playoffs. We're still here. It's not PGL because Mad Lions won. It makes me so happy that we have a good series on our hands because the Mad Lions managed to bounce back and are now on their way possibly towards a reverse sweep. That would be something. How did they do it?
Well, I think for Mad Lions, it started in the draft. They chose blue side once again, and they decided, hey, there's some power picks that G2 have beaten us with, frankly, and it's the Nautilus ban to start things off that I really think changed things up for Mad, because while G2 still left the Lillia open and were fine getting that through, this changed the entire bot lane dynamic.
Yeah, they can't really go for Sen and Nautilus. I mean, you could argue they could go Senna and then Tampkench on 3, some dynamic like this, but the Ezreal Yuumi is quite a nice pickup. I think Ezreal Yuumi is quite strong, but the response from Mad is just great. Just pick up a Lulu, pick up the Ashe. And you could see in mid-game when it came to like this 2v2, just contesting for mid-prio in 15-20 minutes, Ashe can just walk up with the Lulu shield, the Lulu speed, and Ezreal just has to E away. I think that the counter pick that they had in bot was really, really crucial.
Yeah, and I think that it all tied into the rest of the comp so nicely, because Camille, Galio, Lillia, like you have really good dive on top of that with the long-range engage from the Ashe. Whereas on the other side for G2, I feel like they got themselves into a bit of a hole, because coming into their 5th pick for caps in mid, the Galio gets locked in. And this is where, looking at the last game, you'd love to run the Aurelia in the mid lane, or even something super aggro like Illusion, but they're so physical damage stacked already that they have to go to the Syndra, and Caps wasn't able to have that same level of impact like solo killing in mid.
Yeah, I mean, the Syndra pickup into the Galio, it's not the most ideal pick, I would suppose. I mean, they run back the Camille Galio, they have insane playmaking. I think the most important thing about the Camille Galio is it works so well with Lillia. She has so much setup, so much engage, and she just felt like Shadow could just run around the map and do what he wanted here. He had good bot push, mid 2v2 was contested, but he always had the Galio ult for Camille on top side as well, so just felt really, really good for them.
Okay, then we saw Shadow actually running away with this early game. Break it down for me. What did he do so well on this Lillia that allowed him to snowball?
I mean, it just sort of felt like this was the Lillia performance we were waiting for, third time's the charm, you know, because he was able to find some really good ganks and snowball in experience. And the thing is, Jankos on the other side feels like he has to force plays because he doesn't outscale this Lillia, but Shadow was there for all the counter ganks, picks up all the EXP off of this, and then snowballed that into so many jungle camps on top.
Yeah, you nailed it there. Basically, Shadow was just basically out-farming Jankos, and on top of that, he's matching the plays. So every play Jankos made, he actually died in, and Shadow got the XP for it. And again, he gets another solo kill, and solo kill XP is so vital. And on top of all of these things, he's actually pushing out mid and bot a lot, so he's getting lots of XP from waves, and that was beautiful from Antoine.
Yeah, I mean, we sort of saw how it enabled him to be so insane in these later fights, have a whole lot of damage. Mad Lions obviously wiped this one away. I do think it is important looking at the context of the Lillia pick. Obviously got out to a big lead, but it's sort of the nature of a lot of these champions, these AP junglers like a Nidalee or whatnot, where you clear through the jungle so quickly that if you get that early edge, you snowball it so much further forward. You saw like he had such a big lead in this game, you know, off the early stages. He was always 3 levels ahead of Jankos.
Yeah, I mean, perfectly the way he said. I mean, AP junglers, that's just how they work. They're kind of weak and early. If you can abuse them, they fall behind. But Lillia was just able to keep farming, keep ganking, keep counter-ganking, and yeah, it looked like a bit of a diffie in the jiffy.
It's a diffie in the jiffy. Jankos looking kind of shifty, always whiffing 50-50. Shadow making him go on thrifty.
Oh, damn.
Put me in the rap battle, please!
I had no idea that was coming.
seconds.
I had no idea that was coming. On the topic of Lillia, if we do compare it to other kind of AP junglers, they do also have the tendency to sometimes fall off a little bit when it does go later. I'm thinking of the Nidalee, for instance. How does she do if she doesn't get this huge lead, if she just gets kind of like a normal lead, or the game is kind of even, if the
Did
game
you watch
goes
game
mid
2
or late?
or Trick yesterday?
That's why I'm asking.
I think the main reason Lillia scales so well is just based, first of all, she does percent HP damage, which is big. And then second of all, the itemization for Lillia just scales so well. The first item, Leandries, the second item, Riot Eyes, the third item is Rabadons. Each of these items gives her another spike and boost in power. Whereas if you look at Nidalee, she gets the Athene's Rod of Ages, and then she's kind of strong, but then she's building into Zhonya's and all these kind of safe items because she's jumping in. Whereas Lilia's just kiting around, so she can just go full damage, full health, CDR a little bit here and there, and just full AP.
Yeah, I think the important thing for looking at Lillia is when she does fall behind, because she has a lot of movement speed, but she doesn't have like quick dashes or really sustain in fights out of Ravenous Hunter, applying off of her abilities. She can struggle if she doesn't have the damage, because then she can't, or the levels, even the HP, to run circles around in team fights. And that's where you see Lilias that don't get off to a good start or do get shut down early, outpaced, really just fall flat.
We've seen that a couple of times, but this was a very successful Lillia. Shadow absolutely making it work better than the first time we saw it from him. We are now 3 games into this series, and the Mad Mad Lions came close in game 2. Now they seem to have unlocked something. What do you think they have uncovered in this game that showed you that they might have a bigger chance of upsetting G2?
Well, they uncovered something by covering something. That's banning the Nautilus. I think the Nautilus for me was such a big pick for Mikyx to be able to make so many plays, roam, and really play through mid lane. So I actually think by Mad Lions banning away that Nautilus, they opened up a lot for them. And you saw how much it changed when Mikyx all of a sudden is on the Yuumi compared to the Nautilus.
Yeah, Mikyx not on a playmaker really kind of made G2 look a little bit weaker. There wasn't as many ganks towards mid. Humanoid got to push a lot more, and the Lulu pick was a huge pickup. But the only concern I have for Mad Lions now is now that they're on red side, I believe.
Yes.
It's really hard to target ban on red side. They banned out the Caitlyn, I believe they banned out Thresh as well, and I think the last
Yeah,
one
I think
was-
we actually have the G2 draft, or G2 and Mad Lions draft from game
1 because
that we
G2
can
will
look
be
at.
back on blue.
So the only issue I have here is, do they want to give G2 Lillia? That's a big question mark. For me, Lillia has brought up more questions than answers in it today, basically, because there was one game she was useless, one game she's just carrying alone, so I'm still unsure. So if you do drop one of these bans for Nautilus, it could hinge the draft and make G2 quite favorable. The only thing I dislike about the bans they have is Caitlyn ban, and then giving G2 Kalista again. Do you really want to do that? And then, yeah, giving them set as well, it seems kind of tricky.
Yeah, the set seems like a big problem for me. So I don't know. Mad Lions have a lot they need to get rid of. I think they will be able to adapt and figure out maybe ban something like the GP in the second rotation as well. But I would like to see them have a better answer early on into this draft that doesn't just go into the full scaling direction.
Yeah, we do have a little bit more time to talk about that next game as we see the teams discussing there as well. When it comes to G2, they're back on blue, which in my mind also spells out we know what we want to do and we know how to deal the killing blow. What is the first pick priority going to be, and is it going to shift? Even though that Kalista is really strong, we have seen some trends in terms of top laners as well in this series. Do you think they're going to go for a different priority in first pick for game 4?
It all depends on how Mad Lions want to swap up the bans for red side. I think there's so many strong picks you can first pick on blue, whether it's the Caitlyn, the Kalista, Sett, Lillia, anything really. Even maybe a Thresh you could see here and there. The only thing that I'm really worried for Mad again is just G2 has target bans. It seems like the whole series yesterday and today, blue side is just target bans, whether it's the Lux, the Sona, the Lee Sin, the Ezreal. So I think G2 is going to run back their blue side draft and just answer what Mad Lions tosses at them.
We'll see what happens. Let's run down a couple of matchups that we had anticipated and how they've played out. We talked so much about they're going to have to shut down Caps, and I think they have kind of found a workaround there in making Humanoid at least viable in these situations.
Because I don't think you can really shut down Caps in the idea of, I love that, of go mid and kill Caps over and over again. But I do think the attention around mid to try and contain Caps, and also putting Humanoid on a champion that he has cheat codes with, where he can teleport around the map with the Galio, does enable them a lot. Because Caps is so good at controlling the wave in mid lane to set up for games, but also get priority and then collapse on sides. And if Galio can beat him to the punch, now he's so much limited.
The thing I love about this series the most is just, you could see game 1, Humanoid just gets railed by all these roams from mid and support and jungle. But then as the game progresses, the second game, they just try to match it. And then the third game, they come up with something else. They keep prodding at this G2 playstyle. We'll ban out support, put Mikyx on a Yuumi so he can't roam. So first of all, they start matching. Then they start banning out the jungle support. So it feels like they're learning how G2 plays as the series goes on, and they're going to get stronger as the series goes on.
And that's what I love, because we were afraid that this might be a blowout if G2 was completely on form. But I like that the Mad Lions are now coming out and showing more of what we praised them for in the, I would say, spring season, but also the beginning of this one. The fact that they are able to come up with these things on the fly, and it seems like this best of 5 is really giving them a chance to shine. The question is, how much is there still left in their bag of tricks?
I mean, Mad Lions are the team that felt like they had so many tricks. So the best of 5 was always where we wanted to see them really enable that, because the best of 1, you can only prove so much. So I think seeing them not just come out with crazy strategies, but actually adapt over the course of the series is great. I just am really hesitant to say, do they have something ready for red side? Because I don't know if I believe it.
I mean, like you said, their adaptability is incredible. I think the way they're just adapting to G2's playstyle, I'm just really curious to see their last draft. The game 4 draft is going to be really important, because if Mad Lions can ace G2 in this draft and pull out a game like they did last game, then game 5 is going to be a banger.
It will be. You have to change your prediction because you were wrong. 3-0 G2. What are you going with now?
3-1 G2. I think blue side again. It's OP.
All right, Caedrel.
I'm sticking with my 3-1.
Sticking with the 3-1. We'll see what happens. Mad Lions have started the comeback, but they now need more wins, because that's how that works in a series, to pull it off. We'll be right back for game 4.
Smooth. Why you gotta call me out like that?
Sorry.
3-0 is close.